Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It is less than about 24 hours until the Indianapolis 500. So exciting. It's finally here, Memorial Day weekend. In all seriousness, though, I do want to take a moment and make sure that we think about why we have a holiday this weekend. All the men and women that have allowed us to be able to enjoy the freedom. So, real quickly, in all seriousness, want to get that out there. I never want to lose sight of what this weekend's really about. But on to the fun stuff. The Indianapolis 500. As a motorsports fan, this is Christmas for us this weekend with the Monaco GP, the 500, and the Coke 600. We're focusing on the Indianapolis 500 here. This year marks the 107th running of the race. I think sometimes that gets lost on people that there's an event that's been going on for as long as this one has. And I think to see how important this event is showcased by how many people show up to this event, how many people flock to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, throughout the month of May, all that. It is incredible event. I went in 2015. I do intend on getting back because it is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. The thing about it is it's not really one particular thing that makes the event special. It's everything brought together, whether it be the pageantry, carb day, qualifying, the speed of the cars, everything about it is what makes it such a great event. We obviously go for the racing. The racers tell us that the event is what it is because of the fans. And when you get that many people into one spot, I think that says something about it. So make sure that you go if you ever get the opportunity to. This makes me laugh to this day, and it's kind of just because it's so silly. But when I was a kid growing up, I would always pray Saturday night and Sunday morning that it would rain here in the state of Wisconsin where I live, so that it wouldn't rain in Indianapolis and the race could go on. And outside of 1997, in my lifetime, I had a pretty good track record with that. But to me, it's just funny today to think about that and laugh that that's how much you wanted to see the race go on. Little things like that. I mean, again, the event means something to everybody in a different manner. So we are going to dive into a little bit of a preview of what we think is going to happen with this race, based on kind of how the month's gone, but also how the last couple of years the race has gone. Certainly with the aero screen on the cars, it's added some trouble for everyone. Is the aero screen itself kind of gives the car understeer, just because of how much weight is put on the front of the car. One of the issues that a lot of people have had has been kind of like making the tires last. Now, this could be a good sign for the race, because what could happen is that you can get alternating strategies. So the fuel window has usually been anywhere from about 28 to 33 laps. Now, can you get the tires to last that long? What we saw yesterday on carb day was cooler temperatures, and there was some blistering issues with people. It's going to be a little bit warmer on race day. So then the question becomes, if you can't make the tires last, then it turns into some more open strategies, kind of. You won't be so into the fuel save, which we've seen over, I don't want to say just the last couple of years, but really in this whole drafting, even when you had the aero kits and you had the DW12 kit kind of deal like that for the Speedway, nobody wants to lead. And a lot of this stems from the fact that the cars are a lot closer. The talent's a lot closer too. You don't have much disparity. So nobody wants to lead. Everybody wants to save fuel and sit back in second, third, fourth, all kind of stuff like that. The big issue with the cars now is that outside of the top 3 to 4 cars, you can't really get a run on anybody. The air is just too disturbed. It's really hard to follow somebody through the corner and then get a run on any of the straights. So that, I understand, is challenging, but overall the race is just more, it's a fuel save race. It's a track position race. So the interesting part is, and you saw it a little bit last year in the 21 race, in the 22 race with Joseph Newgarden, where if you get the pack kind of condensed in that, where nobody wants to lead, the leader, someone's got to lead though, and the leader needs to save fuel too. They'll usually dial back their fuel a little bit and run a slower pace. It's like, well, if I got to lead, then I'm going to try and dictate the pace. So what happens is you get somebody in, say, 12th to 15th like that. Well, they go, you know what? We could pit at the start of the window, come out, run really hard, and then as the cycle goes through, see if they can't jump up and get themselves a little bit higher and continue to leapfrog like that to get to the front. Especially if the air is too disturbed, you can't make passes. It's kind of like the over-undercut, which you usually see more on road courses, but the way the racing is right now, that's kind of an option that you have as far as strategy goes. So it'll be interesting to see if that plays out at all. Into who really are contenders. Obviously, the Ganassi cars, they've been fast all month. They've been fast in all the practices. Obviously, Pelot put up good times. They're all starting kind of near the front. So they'll be strong for sure on race day. I think it's just a matter of what they run for downforce, and really everybody downforce, but Ganassi cars for sure. The Aero McLaren cars are interesting. They've been pretty good in all the practice sessions. Certainly near the top, in the top half of the grid, kind of like that. They showed tremendous pace in qualifying. All 4 cars in the top 12. Felix on the front row, obviously. But it'll be interesting to see race pace wise where they stack up. I think everyone's putting Pato as kind of the favorite of that group of 4. I obviously would never sleep on Alexander Rossi or Tony Kanaan as far as Indy 500 race pace goes. But again, it's kind of the same theme that we're going to have that we've had, that I talked about in the season preview video, and what we've talked about throughout kind of the season races so far. There's just so many good drivers and so many good cars. I don't think anybody can say there's a clear-cut favorite. There's the appearance of a clear-cut favorite, but I don't think there's an actual clear-cut favorite to win this race. Team Penske, obviously, same thing that they've had over the last couple of years. No real pace as far as qualifying goes, mid-pack and on back. I'd say that back Willpower was the only one to make the Fast 12 this year. But the question really is, where is their race pace at? They've been at the top of the boards. They were on carb day. I think they were on the last Monday practice as well too. But is it actually going to translate to race? Are they going to have to get tricky with strategy like they had the last couple of years? Andretti Autosport's been kind of middle of the road. They look decent on carb day, but again, the temperatures are going to be higher on Sunday, so can they translate it? Kyle Kirkwood, I think, has looked the best out of that group, just to my eyes. But I could be wrong on that. We'll see how it shakes out come race day. And then obviously, like, Ray Hall's had their struggles, but the team has had their struggles, I should say. Graham, it'll be really interesting to see how he does in the dry and Ryan Cusick. Obviously, we are very sad that Steph can't race in the race, and hope that he has a speedy recovery from his back injury. Just unfortunate what happened with him and Catherine on the Monday practice. The AJ Foyt cars, I think, will be interesting. They've been quick. I don't know if it's going to translate to race pace. It might be one of those things where they're really good the first couple stints and then they fall off. This race is so hard to try and keep up with all the changes and how it goes. I guess if I had to take a pick, I'd go Pelot. I know that's not out there, but he's just been so strong all month and probably the best Ganassi car. But I think you could take anybody in that stable. My dark horse, though, that I would probably take, I would say probably Pato. It's hard to pick a mid-pack guy, to be honest with you. I guess I would go, if you're going mid-pack dark horse, I'd say Scotty McLaughlin, even though this would be awesome if he got one. But probably Scotty Mack. He's had a pretty good car and been pretty happy with his. But again, I think it's going to be a great race. It's going to be really interesting to see how this strategy shakes out. I hope you all enjoy the race. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.